All right. Good morning, guys. We'll get started here in a few moments. Just gonna wait here to see. Hey, Shadow Hunter. Morning. So, how are you coming along on your um, combine, Shadow Hunter? Morning, Sergey. Morning, Gregory. Oh, excellent. Very good. Gregory, are you new to this channel? New to this session? I think it's the first time I've seen your name. It's always I'm always interested to see um, new people in the room. Obviously. Good morning. Oh, you've been here before? Okay, excellent. All right, you start another combine. Morning, Enzo Trader. Enzo Trader. Do I know you by a different name? Enzo Trader. Are you new to the channel? Morning, Thomas or F. Thomas. No, just you. All right. All right, guys. So I do have the risk disclosure up, guys. So again, just to remind everyone that the market trader and its affiliates, the information that we're about to publish and distribute is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice. An offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Use of the information contained is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk, and an investor could potentially lose all or more of their initial investment. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is intended as investment advice to suggest, to offer, to buy, sell futures, options, or forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we got the risk disclosure out of the way, guys, we'll go ahead and move into see if I can locate this. This is the news portal here, Financial Juice. We'll go ahead and open that up here and see what news we have in store in the markets today. Okay, so we've already gotten a couple of news reports here. We've gotten some housing numbers, I guess new builds, and then also building permits. Okay, so it seems like we've gotten some more starts of new housing, but building permits have come in a bit light than forecast. Outside of that, we have a number of Fed members speaking, and anytime we have a Fed member speaking, that could, always has the potential of, getting some sort of market reaction. Okay. So the only other one I want to highlight for those that are new is the was it option expiration? Okay, a European option expiration that happens at 10 a.m. every morning. Okay, so that has, if it has any sort of futures exposure, that could cause the markets to move in ways that maybe we hadn't anticipated. Okay. So now that we have kind of a feel for the news, you can, I guess, get a little bit more detail about the new residential construction number on the portal here. But the good thing is that this news is already out in the markets, being digested, and the effects of it have probably already taken place to some degree. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to our, I guess, the first instrument that we're going to review today, and that is the gold. I have the ES up right now, but we're going to move this over to the gold market here shortly. We're going to go ahead and turn off some of our levels here to start. I'm going to leave my overlay here. Just want to make sure that the overlay is communicating what I think it's communicating. Yep, 4 hour. So you can see here that that we have some quite a bit of momentum taking place right now in the gold market. We have higher highs and higher lows on higher time frames. That's usually an indication of continuation, sustained auction moves. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the. Let's see. I'm going to turn off a couple more things here before we move on. All right, we'll leave it at that. We're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart as we normally do. Okay. So again, this is kind of a 4 hour overlay. Okay. So I get a glimpse of what the 4 hour is doing, but I guess more importantly, what I want to call out here is that we are potentially making a new leg to the upside in the gold. All right. So we've been in a steady climb here since since I don't know, August, July of this year. Okay. And doesn't appear that there's at least any sort of end in sight here. Okay. Yes, we are very much in all-time highs in the gold market. Okay. So when we're booking all-time highs without any sort of kind of reference level, it's really difficult to fade such a market like this. Okay. All right. So again, daily indicating very much bullish. 4 hour, as you already kind of noticed in the overlays, is also equally as bullish. Okay, we see I have my 233-day EMA. We see that price is above that. Okay, again, another kind of higher time frame kind of sentiment indicator. Yeah, exactly. Who will be the one to dare to short this? Correct. It's going to take somebody with some big pockets here. Okay. All right. So we have price above our 233-day EMA. We have volume delta aligned with the general direction of the market. So again, both the daily and the 4 are very much aligned to the upside. Okay. So looking at the 30-minute chart, this is where we start to open up some of these other kind of indicators that support my price reference levels that I care about. Okay, so you can see that we have price is above our daily VWAP. Okay, we have price above our daily VWAP, and I'm just kind of figuring out exactly where I'm going to place my anchor VWAP. But let's say that we want to place it here at the bottom here at around in and around the London session. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add our anchor VWAP here, and you can see that price is also equally above. Okay, so fair number of buyers remain in this market. We just had the open here, so we'll go ahead and open up our range, our initial balance range tool here. We'll maybe adjust this a little bit to not. Well, actually, we'll leave it. We'll leave it for now. So the red line is the 100% extension of the current definition of the move. Okay, those 100% extensions again historically offer us areas for potential targets. Okay, for moves. Okay, so that's something else. I'm a big believer of statistics when it comes to arriving at targets and locating areas for trades. So I'm constantly looking for ways to enhance my edge in the market, and if I can, if I can arrive at reasonable targets for trades that eliminate, say, my ability or my ability to have to involve myself or my mind in making decisions, all the better. Okay, that's my goal. All right. So let's continue with the expansion here. So we're going to go ahead and open up our ADR levels. Okay, so our ADR levels, we've already exceeded ADR high. Okay, in the overnight. Again, that's also another indication that we are very much in a very strong, sustained auction right now to the upside. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up ASR. ASR is the other one. Is that average session range versus average daily range? And here we are. I think these are defined by the London session, but we'll maybe lower this down to New York here, and that move things quite a bit lower here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move this over to London for now, and we'll wait for the open of the New York session before we readjust again. Okay, so now that I have some of these levels kind of listed on my charts, I'm going to go ahead and open up my spreadsheet here and I'm going to add the levels that I'm going to be using and tracking in today's market. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add those here, right? So we have the market here. All right, so we can see here now. The last thing I'm going to add here is our volume profile. So you can see here, you can see this area in blue. All right, this area in blue is our value area high. A value area high happens to fall right at where we basically started the day, or actually start our average daily range. So this 2710, 2712 level carries a fair amount of interest, I would say, in the future. I would expect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and extend this line here, okay, to understand where this line is going to be, because if price were to come down, okay, if price were to come down, I would expect that this value area high to be an area where we could find some support. Okay, so let's see. Just get back to my portal here. Okay. All right, so let's double confirm some of these levels. All right, so we have value area high coming in at 2711.8. Okay, which we've got to capture here. Value area low coming in at 2701.6. Okay, right here. Point of control at 2705 right here. Okay, so all these numbers seem to be in order. Okay, I'm just kind of double confirming that to be the case. But yeah, see, maybe slightly adjust my ADR high, maybe. But even that is coming in as expected. Okay, so right now we are coming close to an area, ASR here, where we could, maybe see a little bit of a pullback. We've already gotten a pullback back to ADR high and reversed away from it. We have a developing kind of bearish candle, but these bearish candles, really hasn't generated anything in the way of volume delta, right? We still have positive number of orders that are coming into the market. Okay, so buy orders are still outpacing sell orders. Now that could change as price changes, as this bar develops. But for now, we see that the buyers are still very much in control. Okay, so what to make of this market? What would be some hypos? Well, as difficult as this may sound, this area up here, say 2735. Okay, this area could provide us a little bit of a pullback in price. I'm never a fan of buying retail or buying at the highs. Okay, so I'd like to see price maybe make a little bit of a pullback, maybe come back down to daily VWAP, or maybe some other range here, maybe 27, 26. Something along. I'd like to have something that I can lean on reference level wise, price reference level wise, that I could at least begin to manage or, evaluate my risk. Right now, I feel like, entering a long here. Well, first of all, we have a bearish candle developing. That's one. Two, I feel like I don't really have a very strong level to kind of base that decision on. Okay. So I'd like price to maybe pull back a little bit, maybe back down to 27.25, 27.24. And that would be maybe an area that would kind of fall around our anchored VWAP as well as our daily VWAP. Those would be kind of areas that I would consider a long. Okay. All right. Yeah. The on the short fence. Well, again, I would if I dare to do so, that the areas that I would focus in on are probably the top of the markets. Okay. But that's obviously, quite, I don't say necessarily dangerous, but certainly a bit of risk given the strong bullish structure that we currently have in this market. Again, we might be better served in waiting for better buy locations than sell locations at this point. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much what I want to what I had for gold here. Just kind of taking a peek here at the chat. Just again, before we kind of move on to the next market, I want to encourage folks again, if what I'm sharing with you resonates or what I'm sharing with you is supportive of your ability to analyze the markets, I'd encourage you guys to hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, maybe you might even want to consider hitting the subscribe button. Again, the idea behind all of this, guys, is to support me so that it allows me to continue to support you in these analysis of these markets. Okay. All right. That caused me to lose three people. All right. In any case, let's go ahead and move on. We'll move on to the crude oil market. All right. So we'll go ahead and switch this over. Hopefully that'll change without a hitch. We're going to go ahead and again, we're going to remove our drawings, our reference levels that we use. Okay. We're going to turn this off for now. Turn this off for now. Okay. And unlike the gold, okay, you can see that's almost like this is like a little bit of a mirror image here. Although we've been kind of in this consolidated range here for some time, since I guess since Tuesday, we've been kind of in this kind of rangy kind of price action. But it's almost opposite of what we're seeing in gold, right? As surprising as it may sound, given all the unrest that we're seeing in the world. That we have, crude oil in this bearish market. Okay, it rolled over to Z. Yeah, right now I have the continuous contract, so that's going to go automatically take in whatever it needs to take in. So, but it's good call out there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the daily here. All right. So you've gotten already a little bit of a peek of the 4-hour over here on the right. Okay. So again, we ask ourselves the questions every time we're presented with this is what is the market trying to accomplish? Well, the market is trying to accomplish is trying to head lower. Okay. As much as we'd like to think that this is going to reverse at this point, market is still pushing lower. Now, is it super successful at the moment in making that push lower? Obviously this area is being met by some buyers, okay, but nonetheless you can see that we've made a lower high and a lower low. Okay, so again, the push continues to the downside. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Again, we seem to be in this kind of bearish structure to the downside. We're below our 233-day EMA. We're seeing our volume delta is also negative. We're seeing our negative DI is also above our positive DI. Okay, and our ADX is kind of leveling off here at 40. Okay. Right. So kind of leveling off at 40. So maybe maybe this downward move maybe is potentially losing a little bit of steam. Okay. But that doesn't mean that we necessarily reverse from here. Okay. We can continue to grind lower at these prices. Okay. All right. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart. We'll open this up here. Okay. All right. So 30-minute chart. First thing I'm going to go ahead and open up here is the ADR. Okay. So that's our ADR levels. Again, I'm looking at the continuous contract. So that will incorporate the Z. Okay. We'll just maybe double confirm since we're already kind of at these levels now. That let's capture the levels that are associated with the appropriate contract here. So we'll go ahead and now that we are in the 30-minute chart, we have less of a need to have the history here. Okay. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and add our levels here, hoping that we've captured the correct levels. So I did this yesterday. All right, we'll double confirm them. Okay, so let's make sure that these levels are accurate because yeah, so we got 7017 settlement price. We have ADR high coming in at 7138. Okay, 35. That's within the ballpark here. We got ADR low coming in at 6903. I had it at 69. That's within ballpark. Our ASR is coming in at what's this price? 7167 and 6940. Okay, that's all represented here as well. We have price. We'll go ahead and open up our volume profile here with the indicator. So we have price currently inside value. I don't know if you guys can see this area in blue, but that's our value area range. So right now we're kind of in an area of balance, an area where we could maybe potentially expect some range trading. Okay, we're about 5 minutes away from the market opening, so we'll have to wait to see what comes of that. All right. So as far as hypos, well, the fact that we are up against this ASR level, this area could provide, I say could provide an area of maybe it did provide a little bit of a reversal. Okay, but it was not able to sustain. Okay, sellers step back into this market. So if I'm a buyer, I would say that given this quick reaction that we had three 30-minute candles that pushed up to this daily VWAP, and it was kind of met with sellers again. So probably not too keen. Although certainly I would look to see maybe down by 69. I see that maybe 69 might be an area that we could look for maybe a potential reversal in this market. That's obviously a 70 ticks away from current levels right now, but that might be an area that maybe I would be open to maybe taking an execution to the long side. Otherwise, I need to look for areas for continuation trade to the downside. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my anchored VWAP. I'm going to choose a point here right around the time of the open of the London market. You can see here that price is below a lot of things that we care about, right? Daily VWAP, anchor VWAP. It's below a value area high. The only thing that really remains is can it break below value area. Now, right now we're kind of in the thick of ASR low. All right. So as far as hypos, I think we've kind of touched on them. I think right now you need to look to see maybe if there's an opportunity to the downside. Like I said, we're about 3 minutes away from the open of the market here, so we'll have to wait to see what the initial balance provides. I'm not really keen in being super aggressive in an opportunity when I'm inside value already. Okay, if I was slightly above value and I kind of maybe come into value, then that might be an opportunity for maybe a value area play. But we're not in that kind of play in this market at the moment. Okay, so that's pretty much, unless there's any questions on this market, I think I've captured our levels, captured a couple of hypos. Like I said, right now, I would say that we probably need to err on the side of bearish when it comes to this market. I think obviously if I'm a bear, I would like to see a new low. Okay. Um, Otherwise, before I even entertain anything to the long side, I'd like to see some, price breaking some structure. I'd like maybe price to get above, 70 before I even start to entertain, anything to the bullish side. Anything in between, I'm just going to sit on my hands. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and now move on to the NASDAQ market. So we're going to go ahead and move that on to the NASDAQ. We're going to go ahead and turn off some of these indicators that I have on my chart. All right. To support and arrive at price reference levels where I can manage my risk. Okay. I'm going to take a peek at the daily, but I think I know what to expect here. So we're kind of, continuing to grind to the upside here, right? We're starting to see a little bit more in the way of overlapping price here, but the last couple of candles, created in today's candle, we have obviously a developing bullish candle. Okay, we're obviously interested in seeing whether this is going to continue to the upside, and our reference level would be, do we get a new high? If we get a new high in this market, then obviously we are continuing in this bullish trend that we're currently in. Looking at volume delta, not super impressive given what I'm seeing candle wise. I would expect it to have seen a little bit more strength in the bullish volume delta given this candle. The fact that I'm not seeing it is a little bit of a divergence. Okay, so a little bit of word of caution, whether maybe there might be some sellers in the market here that might be interested in taking maybe price down. Okay, all right. Let's see. Moving on to the don't have my overlay. Well, we'll move on to the 4-hour. We'll deal with the overlay some other time. All right. So looking at the 4-hour chart again, I cannot deny the fact that this price continues to slope higher. Okay, right? I cannot deny that. Right. So as a trader, I should be looking for opportunities to the upside. Now, what's interesting for me is that what's currently developing. Right. We got a new high, came back, retested, and we found more buyers. So if we are able to break structure here above, say, I don't know, 20,500, that could lead to a leg up to maybe 20,600, 20,000, maybe 650, 700 level. Okay. That's based on what I'm seeing here in the way of structure. So on the 4-hour chart, I would say that 20,500 would be an important level. We've rejected away from it in the past. Now we're rallying away from it, creating a little bit of a demand zone here, indicating to me that there is some momentum to the upside. Okay. All right. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Okay. 30-minute chart. We have our series of higher highs and higher lows, broken structure here. Okay. We broke structure here. We broke structure currently. And now we're at an area. What do we break structure? Or is the person who sold the market off last time, is he still around? Is he interested in maybe scooping up some more to the downside here? Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how price reacts around this 520, 560 level. Okay, given this kind of bullish move, that's kind of where I'm seeing maybe we might see some resistance in this area here. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start opening up our levels. We have our notice we have our average daily range here at around the same level that I'm talking about, right? This average daily range is coming in at this 520 level. So it is an area of importance. Let's open up our volume profile. So price has just made it above our value profile, value profile, volume profile, the value area of our volume profile. Okay. Sorry, guys, have not had my coffee yet this morning, so I'm a little the sluggish. Okay. All right. All right. So we are above value. We are above our EMAs. We'll go ahead and turn on VWAP. We're above our VWAP. Okay. Above our VWAP. Thank you. Appreciate you, Thomas. So we're going to go ahead and open up our anchored VWAP. Okay. And anchored VWAP also indicating maybe slide this over here a little bit, maybe closer to the London market here and see what our anchor VWAP does. So again, all indications right now are for bullish prices. So I don't see really any reason why we cannot reach 20,500 at this point. 20,520. I don't see any reason why. Don't see anything necessarily in its way. 20,500 maybe, but yeah, it seems like there's a clear path up to this ADR high here. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our levels to the charts that I've kind of arrived at here, just to kind of track this a little bit. So we have our levels. Oops. Okay, there are our levels. Okay, so we have identified 20,600 as an area of for our supply. We have our average daily range coming in at 519, which we kind of captured here. We're going to go ahead and open up our ASR. Okay, if I can locate it. Is that ASR? Yeah, it is. Okay, so we have 20,576. 576. Looks like I transposed a couple of numbers here. 576. Okay, click OK on that. And then we have 333. So let's make sure I capture this correctly. It's 576. Okay, so this needs to adjust here a little bit. Just kind of I'm just modifying the levels here. So bear with me in my spreadsheet. Make sure that's captured correctly. Okay. And then we have average session range low at 333, which is good. We're good there. All right. Just make this last few edits, and we'll continue our review analysis. All right. So again, right now, I would say that and that we need to err on the side of bullish in the NASDAQ. All right. I see that we have price above a lot of areas that we care about, right? We have value area high. We're above our anchor VWAP. We're above our daily VWAP. We're above. So we're just above. Okay. Simply put, we're above. Okay. So the best thing for us to do is to kind of wait for a similar opportunity, maybe to manifest itself that it created in the London market, right? We get a nice pullback into an anchored VWAP, and that would be an area that we would use as a reference level for an execution to the long side. Okay. At this point, with about 25 minutes or so from the open of the market, the best thing that we can do is kind of wait for that initial balance range to establish, and let the initial balance range tell us, okay, what direction that they want to move the market. If price leaves to the upside, we look for we use IB high as our reference level. If it leaves to the downside, then we use IB low as our reference level. And as long as price doesn't come back inside those levels, then we know that we're in a potential sustained move in that direction. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the NASDAQ. Again, appears to me that we are going to continue bullish into Friday. All right. Maybe close out Friday bullish. Like I said, I do see some areas above me, 520, 576, that one will serve as targets, or two could serve as areas for maybe price to pivot. Okay, pivot in the other direction. Okay. All right. Peeking to see if there's any question. I see Jack of all trades wishing everyone a good morning. Good morning, Jack. We'll go ahead and move into the not the NASDAQ, but the ES. All right. So we'll take a look at the ES here. And we'll shut down some of our levels, price levels that we are looking at, and take a closer look at this market. All right. So looking at the daily, here we are. No surprise based on what we saw on the NASDAQ that we are in this kind of bullish structure to the upside. Okay. Should not be a surprise here. Okay. 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart also, see, turn off initial balance here for a second. Okay. Also equally as bullish. Again, very easy for me to draw, some sort of channel here, price channel or trend line or whatever it is that you use to indicate this bullish move here, right? As long as we maintain the bottom end of this price channel, you're welcome, Frizu. As long as we maintain the bottom of this price channel, there's really no reason. It even was not able to touch that before it was scooped up and rallied, right? So 59.10.75 is probably my line in the sand for me. I'd like to see price maybe break this level to the upside. Okay, maybe make a new high, and then for me to really embrace along. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Here we are. I'm going to go ahead and remove the channel. I think we have a kind of a reference of what the channel is providing us already. We're going to kind of zoom into this a little bit further. Okay, clear this up here a little bit. You can see that we're above settlement. You can see that we're above the anchor VWAP, not anchored, but the daily VWAP. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my anchor VWAP here. Okay, I'm going to use London session as my kind of anchor here, or maybe this is probably going to give me the same number. Yeah, anchored. Which level? Now, if I use this, I think I'm just going to get the same line, which is exactly what I was afraid of. Okay, so if I move this over here, that gets me a little bit closer to the market. We did see that it was respected, so I'm going to keep this line because I do see that it was respected. So if we come back to this line, the 5,900, maybe 5,900 is kind of maybe the line in the sand, right? If we stay above 5,900, we're long. If we get below 5,900, we're short. Maybe that's kind of how we could play this. Okay. 5,900 seems to be a level of importance. We've already kind of reacted away from this anchor VWAP here. So let's open up our ADR. We have a fair amount of distance to reach this market. Okay, there's more than enough runway, I would say, for a continuation bullish move in this market. So open up ASR. ASR is coming in at that same level. Let's go ahead and add in our price levels that we're tracking today. Okay, so we'll add these to the charts. Here we are. We'll just kind of spot check them. We have average session range coming in at 59.19.25, which is captured. We have 59.15 coming in for average daily range high. We have value area high, which we're going to add here in a minute. Okay, there's value area high coming in at 59.09. Value area low coming in at 58.91. So these levels all seem to be checking out here. Okay, so I don't see right now. I don't see any reason why we can't get back up to value area high. And value area high would probably be the first location. If I was really truly interested in a short, that would probably be the first location that I would maybe entertain. Okay, because right now it appears, and I really don't see anything in its way until we get up to about 5,900 again, 59.05, okay, and up to 59.10. That maybe that could create some resistance for this market. Okay, so like with anything, right, we're gonna wait and be patient and wait for this initial balance range to establish in about the start of it anyway. It's going to start here in about 20 minutes. So we'll have to wait to see how we open. Right now, it looks like we're going to open inside value. Again, opening inside value is not necessarily an area that I'd like necessarily to participate in trades. It's kind of in the middle. It's also an area where maybe this perceived fair price. I'd really like to, focus on the edges of the market, like value area high, or maybe up around average daily range or average session range high. Those are the areas that I like to participate. These areas here, I open myself up for maybe for some more than just paper cuts. Okay. This could be an area of contention either direction. Okay. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for some levels to establish here. I'm going to wait for my initial balance range to establish. Let initial balance range and price tell me what direction they want to take the market, and then at that point make some decisions as to where I want to deploy some capital. Okay, around that. Okay. All right. That was a mouthful. So any questions on any of the main markets that we've covered? I'm gonna take a peek at the YM, all right, and see where YM is in reference to all of this that we've discussed with respect to ES and the Nasdaq. But I'm open to take questions, guys. Feel free to use the chat. I do see that we have about 35 members here and about 26 members still kind of well, actually about 9 members kind of holding out on whether or not they like what they hear or not. But if you do, then I would encourage you again to hit the like button. IB of silver and copper are the same of gold. The initial balance ranges. You mean the times that are used to establish the initial balance? Honestly, I would think that silver is. I would think that silver is. I'm not 100% sure on copper. Okay, I would probably have to rely on the tool in this case to help me establish that range. Okay, and if you've been around me enough, you know which tool I'm using here, right? If you go to indicators and initial balance, right, the CZOA is the initial balance tool that I use. Silver is 525. So in those kind of situations, I just started at 8:30 Eastern time. Okay, I would just start it at 8:30 Eastern time. Okay, right. So, but yeah, technically, I guess it's would be 8:25 Eastern. Okay. All right. Let's take one look at the Dow. All right. I know the Dow is probably not super exciting for most, but I think it is how you say, a thicker market. The moves can, it has some volatility, but I find that once it gets in a direction, it tends to stay in that direction, maybe a little bit better and maybe a little bit more constant or sustained than say a Nasdaq. So I find it as a good beginning kind of instrument for someone who's kind of starting in on futures. And also, there's obviously less risk involved given the $5 tick size. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the daily here. So we see a little bit of a difference here. Okay. We're seeing a developing bearish candle while we were seeing developing bullish candles on the other markets. Okay. So I don't know if the Dow is leading the charge to maybe a potential move to the downside. I'm not sure. Our volume delta seems to be somewhat aligned with that view. Okay, but still, again, if we look at this, we'll go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Okay, remove drawings. Okay, we can see that we remain in this kind of bullish structure to the upside. Okay, nonetheless, even though we are developing a bearish candle. Okay, we won't know for sure how this closes until the end of the day. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, we have, again, looking far more bearish to me than the other instruments. Okay, we have a developing bearish engulfing candle. All right, again, we don't know exactly how that's going to close, but we'll get that piece of it or that information relatively soon. Okay, another 40 minutes, we'll get a print, and we'll see how strong this prints to the downside. We have volume delta. Right now, we have more sellers than buyers. Price is congruent or in sync with what we're seeing as far as the sell volume. Okay. So 4-hour, while it's remaining bullish, starting to feel like maybe that we could be challenging this, okay, to the downside. You can see that we're kind of peaking below my channel here. All right. And that could potentially accelerate. Okay. Could accelerate a move to the downside. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the Dow on the 4-hour. Looking at the 30-minute. Okay, so 30-minute chart. There's our channel here. We had a series of candles here that kind of went below the channel here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's about an hour and a half worth of candles here. Most of the London session was down in the Dow. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see as we get closer to the market open. We have a developing 30-minute candle here. Do we rally? Okay, do we rally back to the bottom end of the channel, and then maybe the sellers who stepped in at London decide to step in and say, that's about as far as I'm going to be willing to accept the bulls to taking price before they step into the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and start to. What time is the London session? It starts, I think, Eastern time. I think it's about, was it 12, 1, 2? I think 2 a.m. 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. I want to say 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Eastern. Okay. I think. For me, it's midnight. Okay. So yeah, I think it's 3 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming, because I live on the West Coast, guys. So I'm doing these kind of translations on the fly. And while I'm pretty good at math, sometimes I do make mistakes by an hour or so. Okay. All right. So we have price. Now this one's a little bit interesting. Okay. I do see that price is just below value. Okay. We're about 10 minutes away. We're about 10 minutes away from the open of the market. Okay. So since we're just a hair below value, there's always the possibility of maybe a potential, as the market opens, that it opens back inside value. And if it opens back inside value, then there's a chance that we can traverse this kind of a value area acceptance kind of play here. Okay. So given the proximity of where, I mean, in the other markets, we had price inside value, which wasn't too exciting. But when we are at the edges of value, right? If we can get price to close back inside value, maybe that will kind of lead us to maybe a bullish move. Now, if we cannot, well, get back inside value, that could spell an indication that we're going to further accelerate to the downside. Okay, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see when we open how quickly we move away from value, or whether we accept value. Okay, because if we accept value, I would say that we have more than a reasonable chance of getting back up to the highs at 43,520. Okay, so that's an interesting thing that I'm going to be watching here with the open of the market. All right, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and maybe jot down some of these levels, guys. We have ADR, I think, is already opened. That's way above the market. I'm going to go ahead and remove this channel here for a second, so kind of clear up my view here a little bit. All right, so we got 43,707. Okay, that's ASR high. Okay, and then we have what was it underneath that? I think we had ADR high, which is probably not all that different, but we'll add it anyway. So 43,701 ADR high. Okay, and then we have 43,521, 43,521. That's 521. That's our value area high. Okay, that's kind of what I'm kind of maybe anticipating, maybe as a target, maybe for this value area acceptance play that I'm considering. What else? We have value area low coming in at 43,444. 43,444. That's our value area low. Then we have POC at 43,512. 43,512 is point of control. And then settlement is coming in at 43,489. 489 settlement. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, guys. I would say right now that the thing of interest for me is to see how we open here in the next 7 minutes. If we do manage to open, I guess, or maybe close inside value, that could maybe lead to maybe a value area acceptance play in this market. So that's going to be kind of what I'm going to be looking for potentially in this market. It may leave without me. But I'm going to wait for the market to open here and see if it does establish and close back inside value, and that could lead to maybe a little bit of a scalp trade back up to the top of value. It may not necessarily be a good risk reward play, but that's kind of the play that I'm kind of considering at the moment. Okay, all right. Just kind of looking here to see if there's any last minute questions. We have our levels. We have our, like I said, NASDAQ, ES, far more bullish, I would say, although YM, it might be lagging, but showing signs that maybe it's might be willing to participate in that view as well. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's it for me. I do see that the likes have exceeded the number of people in this room, which is awesome. If you haven't hit the like button yet, and it does resonate and it supported your analysis of the markets, don't hesitate to hit the like button on your way out. I will be in the Top Step Discord server in Coach's Ray's room here for about an hour. Okay, you're welcome, Chuck. Also, I'm scheduled to be on Power Hour today on Top Step TV, so you can watch me there as well. Okay, all right. That's it for me, guys. This is Friday, right? So we want to be extra careful on our setups. We don't want to be super aggressive. We want to let price come to our levels and execute trades, but it's probably not a market, to be super aggressive. Fridays generally are not my better days, right? So we want to be maybe even extra cautious on Fridays, okay? Especially if you've had a good week. It's not the day to try to recoup. Well, if we've had a bad week, the Fridays are not the day to recoup. If we've had a good day, we want to preserve capital as much as we can. Okay. All right, guys. So trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you guys soon.